I am the big tank.
On the battlefield of life, nothing's harder than a tank. Yeah, have you ever met a man, hearts full of love, bigger than a tank?
Big tank.
He served in a few wars. He's a veteran that stands for a cause. For the best interviews and news, just keep it glued to the tank.
I am the tank. Big
Big
tank.
Tank Talk.
Tank.
Big Tank Talk.
Tank. Hey friends, and welcome to another episode of Big Tank Talk. Today I have the pleasure of introducing to you MordanApt. Mordan, welcome to Big Tank Talk.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time to let me ask you a few questions, and I'm just going to jump right in with the first question. What first got you into music?
Man, honestly, I'd always been a fan, like paying more attention to, structure and stuff like as a kid. But I didn't get started early. I wish I would have. I had family that played, and I was always inspired when I'd visit and see them. But I never got my first guitar until I was like 15, when I had my own money. That was what I went and got. Pawn shop beater and an amp, and took off, man.
Well, that's awesome. And you're obviously not 15 now. So your love of music got you into it. What inspires you to make music now?
Man, it just there's so many different inspirations. It's always been a part of my coping mechanism, and it's therapeutic. It's a healing tool, man. You having a shitty day, man, go bang around on the guitar and everything's better, a little while later. But it's constant inspiration, man. I mean, everywhere you look, you know.
I definitely understand that. And I don't know if you know, and I'm 61, but early this year, really late last year, I started learning the guitar, and I've been on a break from it because I've been having back spasms, and it's hard to play with back spasms. But that's something I intend to continue to do. Um, I wonder if do you write your own songs?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I came out the gate writing, man, like as soon as I had basic chord structures and the ability to jump between them and rhythm and timing. I mean, I've been writing since then. It took me a little while though to get all that coordinated. Being able to sing and play at the same time, but as far as musical education, I have none. I'm self-taught, and it's just if I don't feel it, I don't do it. That's the way I look at it.
I definitely understand that, and I do understand playing a guitar and singing as easy as some people think it is when they watch somebody like you do it. I know it's really not easy. It's there's some work to get all that coordinated, and so
I'm,
it sounds good.
I mean, it's easy now on some stuff, most stuff. I mean, I'm not, but dude, I bet you there was the first 3 or 4 years I couldn't play and sing at the same time. But now I didn't have full time devotion to it like some other kids that were coming up around me. I mean, they were like doing Hendrix and shit in like 6 months, but that's all they did was sit there all day and play guitar. I've been working ever since I was 10 years old, man. So I just never had full time to put to it.
I do understand that. Now, let me ask you this. When it comes to your original music, can you describe your creative process from the moment you decide you want to write a song to the point you're performing it?
A lot of times, man, and I've talked to several people that write. Um, I'm different, man. Like I'll sit down and just come up with a riff, and then I'll play that thing for like 20 minutes straight, and then my wife will be like, "You gonna play anything else?" I'm like, I'm trying to make a muscle memory. And so for me, like I'll come up with the music first, and then retrofit the lyrics to the feel of what I've already written. Because, I mean, a lot of times I don't do it on camera or anything, but especially on my acoustic, I'll lay my ear down on the shoulder of the guitar and just transcend while I'm playing blindly. And I tell people, I'm just a conduit of the universe, man. I'm just receptive to the vibration and able to pick it out and apply it.
I get that, and I'm really fascinated at the different ways that people come up with creating music, and all that matters is that your way works for you. Um, and I think it's good being so open to whatever is around you that you can pull in as inspiration, as a means for creating music. Pretty fascinating to me. Um, I'd like to discuss the business of music for a couple of questions. First and foremost, how do you feel the internet has impacted the music business or the music industry, good or bad, or good and bad?
I honestly think it's opened a lot of doors, and people are, I mean, like the equipment that's available. I mean, you can sit like right here in this space I'm in and create high quality recordings that you would have had to pay somebody thousands of dollars just 15 years ago to do for you. And then they'd still want their name on the product and all that. But at the same time, it's a floodgate of noise now. So it's harder to get heard, as far as finding a fan base. And I mean, you can't. I know a lot of people over the last few years doing this social media that I've met that are excellent, just totally awesome, and write really good stuff. And they'll throw it on Spotify, and it'll sit there for like a year and get maybe 1,000 streams. So I think it's helpful and hurtful at the same time. It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah, I heard it once put to me that the internet makes it easier um, because making music, and especially if you want to succeed in the music business, it is a grind, but you got to put in the work, and that the internet makes it easier for lazy people to be lazy. Would you go along with that?
I mean, yeah, because the internet, if you just sit there long enough, you'll become lazy just watching clappers and TikToks, man.
You have a point there.
Yeah.
Um, okay, let me ask you this. If you could change anything about the music business, what would you change?
Ah, shit, man, I'd be making money off of it. That's what I'd change.
That's fair enough.
Yeah.
Um, from the time you picked up your first guitar, started playing, learn to get good on playing the guitar and then write music. What's been the best advice you've ever been given?
The best advice I've ever been given? Was that the question?
Yes, sir.
Man, there's been so many helpful people that, I've learned things from, but honestly, I think the best advice was just, you gotta make somebody connect with either your lyrical content that connects them through an emotional strike, or whether it be happy or sad, or you got to make them connect physically with your rhythm, and make them want to get up and move, so it's all about feel. Like I said earlier, if I don't feel it, I don't, I don't do it, because I know if I feel it, somebody else will too. It's, but everything I do in my writing, I try to make universally applicable, to where anybody who stumbles across it, can say, "Oh man, I never looked at things that way, but I've been affected by it and didn't know." So, like,
That absolutely makes sense to me because I've loved music all my life, even though I'm not a musician. I'm, at the age of 60, I started learning to play guitar. I've got a long way to go. And at the age of 60, I started singing for the first time ever. Not because I'm any good, but because I enjoy doing it. It's fun. Um, but music has been able to reach me from a young age. And you say it, feel that if you feel it, then other people are going to feel it. There are songs that still evoke strong reaction in me that I heard when I was a kid, but I
yes,
still get
sir.
that same reaction to it even now, so many years later. So I absolutely understand that. Now I'd
Mm-hmm.
like to do a couple of what if kind of questions. Um, well, first, let me ask you this. Have you ever done music tours, or do you intend to do any?
I, I used to have a 3-piece band with my brother and this other guy, drummer. My brother plays bass, and we weren't really touring, but we were, just hitting the local watering holes and stuff. But man, it's such a grind, and the area we live, nobody really liked what we was doing, because we were doing like rock stuff, and everybody wanted to yell out, "Play Country Boy Can Survive, bro," and, do some George Jones, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love that shit, but we weren't doing that, you know. So, but now I've got a family. I've got a wife and daughter. You know my wife, Wild Fireflies. Y'all made friends over Clapper, and if I did a tour now, I would like to do something where I could pack the family up in an RV and just go camping for the summer, and make money stopping at all these places and doing a show here and there, because we'd all have some good memories off of that. But as far as going like cross country tour for 6 weeks at a time, man, no, hell no, I don't really want to do it. I'd just as soon sit here and be comfortable in my own studio, and you know what I mean, hang out with good folks like you, brother.
Yes, sir. I do understand that, and I imagine touring, for all the benefit you get out of touring, it has to be hard. It's hard on family. It's hard on the body. Being somewhere else every night. That's. I was a sailor, and I was 6 months on a 6 month sea tour, but I stayed in the same place, slept in the same bed every night. I was
Yeah,
just
so
away from away from
It
my
was
family
like
for 6 months.
home. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was just taking my home. My home was on the ocean, you know. So, but I do understand that. Now, again, I want to come back to this, just what if kind of situations. Let's say you are approached to go on a tour, but you get the option of who you open for. If you could open for anybody, who would you want to open for?
Like anybody in history or anybody
Anybody and
currently?
anybody, yeah, past or present in the music business. It can be somebody that's famous all over the world, or it could be somebody that nobody's heard of, but you have and you respect them. So this is totally up to you.
Well, I'll answer that in two parts. I'll do a current. I would I'd be absolutely cool and honored to open up for like Devil Makes Three or somebody like that. I'm really into them these days. But as far as legendary, man, I'd like to go on tour with John Prine, man. I think that'd be bad.
Yeah, John Prine was really good, and I am a fan of his music as well. Although I don't think a whole lot of kids today would have any clue who that is.
The kids my age when we were kids and I was turning everybody on to John Prine didn't have a clue who he was.
Yeah, I understand that. Now I want to just a similar question, but I want to switch it up. This time, instead of opening, you get an option to choose who you can collaborate with. Who would you collaborate with?
Well, if speaking from a business sense right now, I'd say Post Malone or Jelly Roll because I mean they're everywhere, dude. But I don't know. I don't know from that's just from like if I'm making dollars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
If it
understand that.
if it was something like just a heartfelt project, man, dude, I'd have loved to have been able to play with Doc Watson.
Another great choice that, like,
God,
another great choice that kids today are not going to know who you're talking about unless they look them up. Doc
he,
Watson was legendary.
I mean, he he was blind, could play guitar, awesome. He had the most in depth, but at the same time, it was shallow enough that anybody could grasp it. Just amazing storytelling ability, through his
No,
songs.
absolutely.
It was beautiful.
A, a, a song that's a question that's probably, to me, it's a simpler question to ask, but it may not be a simple one to answer. What's your favorite song to perform?
Yeah, that's not simple. Um, I could probably give you like a top three of, let's say, like the last 6 weeks. Yeah,
That'll work.
would be this one by Devil Makes Three called "A Moment's Rest." Um, and then one of my favorites that I love to play all the time is West LA Fade Away by the Grateful Dead. And my wife's favorite recently that she's been asking me to play the most is Jimmy Buffett, Pirate Looks at 40.
That's a great song. I love that.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
And I'm a big Jimmy Buffett fan, so but I like all three of your choices. Uh,
Well, like in cover songs, man, you got to adapt them to your style, so they're not true to, studio release, but
right.
it's recognizable, and anybody that hears it that knows the song gonna be like, hell yeah, man, let's go. So
Right on. I get that, and I do. I've been blessed to meet a lot of musicians through starting Big Tank Talk, um, and I do respect that. And I when you're doing a cover song, to me, it's going to sound better if you make it yours and do it. Put your own flavor on it, so to speak.
yes, sir.
So I'd like to ask you, if you don't mind, would you mind playing a song for us?
No, I'd love to, man. You're gonna have to let me get a drink of water though, and
No,
then
no
I'm good
problem.
to go. I'll do that off camera.
No problem, brother.
All right, let's see. I lost my pick the other night. There it is. So, what are you looking for, Tank?
As far as what I want to hear,
Yeah.
how about one of your favorite three to perform? Any one of those three works for me.
All right, then. That's fair enough. I'll do Pirate Looks at 40.
All right.
Mother Ocean, I have heard your call. I wanted to sail upon your waters since I was 3 feet tall. You've seen it all. You've seen it all. Watch the man who rode you switch from sail to steam, and in your belly you hold the treasures you have ever seen. Most of them dreams, most of them dreams. Yes, I am a pirate, a few hundred years too late. The cannons don't thunder, there's nothing to plunder. I'm an under 40 victim of fate, arriving too late, arriving too late. I've done a bit of smuggling and ran my share of grass. I made enough money to buy Miami, but I pissed it away so fast. Never meant to last. Never meant to last. Well, I've been drunk now for over 2 weeks. I passed out and I rallied and I sprung a few leaks, but it's time to go fishing. Gotta stop wishing I'm down to rock bottom again. Just a few friends, with just a few friends, with just a few friends, with just a few friends. Mother Ocean, I have heard you call and wanted to sail upon your waters since I was 3 feet tall. You've seen it all. You've seen it all. You've seen it all. You've seen it all.
That was outstanding, and like I said, I really do love that song. So, and you do it so well. I really do appreciate that.
Thank you, brother.
Uh, Now, I do have a couple more questions before we wrap
Yes,
up.
sir.
Musically speaking, who is your hero?
Man, gotta be Jerry Garcia, man. I mean, that dude been performing since he was like 10. Started out, his father was a musician, like pretty renowned, but
Right.
nobody's ever heard of him anymore, you know. But he started off in like bluegrass, and what was weird is they lived somewhere in Tennessee, and then they moved out west. Well, then once he got up into his teenage years, he was already. I mean, he was making a living as a kid as a bluegrass musician, but all the major bluegrass artists were on the East Coast, the Appalachian, you know. I mean, so
Right.
then he started the Dead. Then he went back and did some bluegrass stuff with, you know, David Grisman.
Yep.
Yeah, him and Doc Watson did a album together. They called it Doc and Dog. And then Jerry Garcia and David Grisman got together and they called it Grateful Dog. And then there was one time Tony Rice came in with Garcia and Grisman, and dude, that was some of the best stuff, man. But
Oh, I'll bet. Jerry
I,
Garcia was legendary. So,
I mean, and I argue with people this now because they're like, "Well, the Dead's still with us. Look, we got Dead and Company," and I'm like, "That's a freaking cash grab." I said,
yeah.
"Yeah, but they're all good, and everybody in there is good, phenomenal, but uh,
But
I
Jerry
don't
Garcia
like.
is the heart and soul of the Grateful Dead.
I mean, I don't like it. I mean, if somebody gave me a ticket to go see Dead and Company, I'd go, but I'll never buy a ticket to Dead and Company. And you know,
I understand that. Okay. What about what's your biggest fear from a musical standpoint?
from a musical standpoint, man, I don't mean this to sound pretentious or anything like that, but I've never really had a fear of performing or anything. I mean, like I I know stage fright is real for some folks, but it's never been real for me, and so I don't understand it. You know what I'm saying? Like I understand that people are actually dealing with that, you know, and then they say, "How do you do it?" And I have no answer because I would rather I'd rather sing to 5,000 people than five people. I mean, that's just uh, I don't know. So
I can
I
understand.
guess if you want, I would hate to lose my hearing or my ability in my hands to play. I guess that's a fear, but you know, I don't dwell on it. So
Okay, it
uh,
wouldn't benefit you to dwell on it. It's a question I ask um, most of my singing slash musician friends that I interview. Um,
what do they say? I mean, do they have it? Do they
a
have a
lot
common fear, or is it all
the,
over the board?
losing the ability to perform has been the most common fear among my performing friends.
Yeah. See, that's. I mean, but
Yeah,
me never really dealing with it or thinking about it. I mean, I had to think about it, you know, just now because it nothing ever like that. I always try to see the brightest side of every
right.
situation, no matter how dark it is, man.
And
And
I can absolutely respect that.
uh,
Um, what would you say to someone that let's say you're doing a show whether it's in you're just doing a local drinking establishment or whatever. But after your performance or somebody comes up to you and says, I really like what you do. I'm thinking I'd like to do that too. What advice would you give that person?
Man, yeah. Get a guitar, get a piano, get a band, get something. Do it. Honestly, man, this is the most therapeutic tool anybody can have. I mean, people spend tens of thousands of dollars a year going to see psychiatrists and stuff. And I mean, I know a lot of them have legit problems and need that help. But I think for me, as having this tool readily available, like, I'm hurt, I'm pissed off, I grab my guitar, you know what I mean? And it's direct, immediate therapy, for me. I can only speak for myself.
Well, I do absolutely understand that. I can't yet play guitar. I do know several of the chords now. So for me, it's getting to practice. And I have one less finger on my chord hand.
Yeah.
So it's learning to play the chords with three fingers and not having the fourth finger that most guitar players have. And I am learning. But just being able to pick it up and playing a chord that sounds good, just the chord for me is a thrilling. So yeah, I get the therapeutic aspect of it.
I mean, it's a dopamine release too, because you accomplished it, and I mean, it's a sense of pride, even in something as small as, hey, I finally got that chord clean, dude. I still remember that feeling 30 years later, man. Like
Oh yeah.
I know exactly what you're saying.
One last question: what's the future hold for MordanApt?
Man, I tell a lot of people this. I'm a blessed man. I've got a wonderful wife and child. I'm happy in my life right now. Everything's copacetic, and everything's just good. And honestly, I, I've got a good job. I do remodel construction, so that keeps me busy. But it takes away a lot of time that I could be doing to music. And
Right.
it's been stressing me out lately because me and the guy I work with just butt heads all the time. And just last week, I told the guy that we work for, I said, dude, I'm gonna finish this job, and you can have him, you can have me. I'm making a leap of faith. I said, if I jump and land back on board with you, as long as I'm not working with this dude, fantastic. If I never see you again in my life, fantastic. So it's up in the air. I mean, I'll always do music, like I say, unless I lose my ability. That'll be a part of me till I die. So I just recently, the end of last year, first of this year, got my studio set up. So I'm in process of recording a bunch of stuff right now. I've got, I probably right now am sitting on 20 solid, complete originals. So depending on how I release it, I mean, that's at least 2 years worth of material at the least. And yeah, man, I'm at peace. I'm at peace, brother. That's all I can really ask for. So I know God's got a plan, and He's fixing to show it to me.
Absolutely. At this point, what I like to do is offer my guests an opportunity to do a shout out, whether it's for something you've written, somebody in your life. What you shout out is up to you, but I'm giving you that chance now.
I do want to shout out my wife, Wild Fireflies, all over social media. You can find her. She's my biggest supporter, and just even speaking to the decision that I was just talking about, if when it comes to something huge like that, because I mean I'm potentially walking away from a great amount of income, and I'm not worried. And she always says, "Look, I'm gonna stand beside you, not behind what you say, right beside your move." Um, you know, so she's been with me through a lot, and so that's my shout out to her.
That is absolutely awesome. That is a blessing to have somebody by your side. You know,
Absolutely,
no matter what you got going on, she's right there with you, and I absolutely respect
absolutely,
that.
absolutely.
Well, my friends, this has been a interview with MordanApt. He's a gentleman I met on Clapper. He is a very talented guitar player and singer, as you heard if when you tuned in. Um, and I'm looking forward to hearing a lot of your original music, sir. I appreciate you for being here. Friends, if you thought there were questions I should have asked him and I didn't, please put them in the comments. I know I will read them. I'm quite sure he will read them as well. And
Absolutely.
if you have a question, I'm sure he won't mind answering. In the meantime, like this interview and please give Big Tank Talk a follow because I'm always looking up interesting people and bringing them to you.
I want
Morden,
to thank you for having me, and most importantly, sir, I thank you for your service. God bless your soul, man.
it was an honor for me to serve, but I appreciate that. And I definitely appreciate you having taken the time to let me ask you these questions. Have a wonderful rest of your evening.
You too, brother. Take care.
You too.